First off, philosophy is a confession. Hey, what's good, y'all? Thanks for clicking on the link. WTJ Knowledge Drops back with another reaction video for you guys. More on that in a second. If you're new, welcome. If you're a returning knowledge nomad, welcome back. I hope you're learning to love somebody that you don't like so you can love yourself. If you are new, welcome. My name is Wesley Travis Johnson. This is WTJ Knowledge Drops, my channel, where we bridge the gap between spirituality and science, and also from Eastern and Western spirituality / religion. I'm bridging the gaps on both of them. That's what the channel is. I hope you enjoy this video and decide to stick around and subscribe and become a knowledge nomad. And if you do subscribe, remember to hit the bell so you can stay in the loop and never miss a drop. But like I said, this is another reaction video on Advaita Vedanta Part 3. Swami Sarvapriyananda Part 3. What is Vedanta? Vedanta. What is Vedanta? And stay to the end, or whatever device you are on will explode. If you back out of the video before the end, it will explode. I'm just kidding. Stay to the end, and I will give you my analysis and everything, and where I'm at on my learning on Advaita Vedanta. So please stay to the end. Thank you guys again. I love you, and we'll see you at the end. Alright, what is Vedanta? Let's get it. Swami Sarvapriyananda. What's up, man?
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light.
Yes,
lead
Lord.
us from death to immortality.
Yes.
Om, peace, peace, peace. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
My
Swami.
pranams to revered Maharaj, and gratitude to him for organizing this and the other program in the afternoon and inviting me here. It's great to be back.
Great to see you.
Question, what is Vedanta? When Maharaj said this subject, I've been speaking about Vedanta ever since I've become a monk. But actually I've never spoken on this subject. What is Vedanta? So Maharaj has given me this
I'm sure it's very easy to explain.
opportunity. And I was asking myself, yes, what is Vedanta? And I kept asking the question, and the answers that I got, I shall share them here with you today. We shall ask the question again and again, what is Vedanta, and see what answers do come. Swami Vivekananda, he spoke about this at the Harvard University. He was asked to speak at the Harvard University, and the subject was the Vedanta, and he started off with what is Vedanta. I'll start off with what he said. He said Vedanta is basically the philosophy of all of Hinduism. His exact words were Vedanta comprises all the various sects of Hinduism. That's the first sentence he said. And it is true. The core philosophy of Hinduism today is Vedanta. In fact, though it does not appear to be so, but if you interrogate, if you approach a Hindu organization, a Hindu sect, and you look behind the rituals and the temples and the deities, you...
So are there different, like with Christianity, there's Catholic and Baptist and all that, all the different, I forget what I'm trying to say with the name there, but there's different ones like that as well in Hinduism, I assume. So that's that.
You will find a branch of Vedanta there. The Hare Krishnas, ISKCON, are very well known across the Western world, but not many know that it is actually a branch of Vedanta. The core philosophy of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, from whom the ISKCON has come, is Achintya Bheda Bheda, a particular philosophy, a school of Vedanta. There are some grand temples coming up across the world today. Another sect of Hinduism, the Swaminarayan sect. In USA okay. Also, you have a number of these temples. And yet not many people know that that is also a school of Vedanta. In fact, the Swaminarayan sect was originally a branch of Vishishtadvaita, Ramanuja's school of Vedanta. Now, of course, they have developed their own unique school of Vedanta, but still a school of Vedanta. And look at us, the Vedanta societies. We are also a particular school of Vedanta at our...
Alright, I will admit, before I started doing these reaction videos and getting recommendations from you guys in the East, I had never heard of Vedanta in my entire life. And I would like to personally thank you guys again. I really, really appreciate it. I am in love with your culture and your religion, honestly. And I'm excited to spread the word here in the West.
Core is the Advaita Vedanta. Of course, in the way it is studied in the light of Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings. So, Vedanta is at the heart of Hinduism. In fact, the various schools of orthodox Hindu philosophy, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, and Vedanta.
Okay.
If you look at a chapter...
So yoga is actually a sect of Hinduism that people, it's like a Catholic version or whatnot. I get it. I'm getting it. I'm there with you guys. I'll get there eventually.
If you look at a textbook on Indian philosophy, you will find several chapters, and one of which will be Vedanta. But that does not give an accurate picture of what's there on the ground. Because if you actually go to India, or if you actually ask Hindus, what is the background of your particular tradition of Hinduism, you will find some school of Vedanta or the other. The other schools of Hindu philosophy are at present more academic than practical. In fact, if you ask a scholar of the Nyaya school, I know a great philosopher, he's a scholar of the Nyaya, the Indian school of logic. But if you ask, are you in practice a Nyayika? He will say, no, I'm a Vaishnava. So he follows a particular school of Vedanta. On the ground, in India, actually in practice, you will find various schools of Vedanta. So that's the first answer that we get when you look at Hinduism. Vedanta is the core philosophy of Hinduism in its various schools, flavors, if you will.
It's like it's a layer, and it's probably the baseline layer of Hinduism, so it's like a blanket for all of them, I'm assuming.
If you ask once again...
It might be able to cross over to our religions, it sounds like. Vedanta might be the default layer for all spirituality. Let's see where this goes.
What is Vedanta? The word itself. Veda, Anta. Veda are the core texts, the fundamental texts of Hinduism are the Vedas. And Anta literally means the end. So the end of the Vedas, end in the sense the last teachings of the Vedas, the final teachings of the Vedas, the highest teachings of the Vedas, that is Vedanta. Anta, technically, as Sanskrit scholars said, is not literally the end here, it means Siddhanta, the final conclusions of the Vedas. So that is Vedanta. Vedanta is the final, the highest teachings of the Vedas. the highest teachings of Hinduism that you will get is Vedanta.
Okay.
In fact, the Nyaya scholar whom I mentioned, Professor Arindam Chakravarti, he is now at Stony Brook near New York.
This is number 3 in this series, and I am excited to learn as much as I possibly can about it, and I will keep continuing to do them until y'all stop watching them. So let me know what you want to see next in this series, and I will gladly do it for you.
He gave a talk recently at the Vedanta Society of New York, and he gave a new meaning. I've never considered this. He gave a new meaning to the word Vedanta. Anta, he says, is edge. And that's true. Anta is the edge of a razor, for example. And so Vedanta is the cutting edge of knowledge.
Oh,
Not
shit.
an ancient philosophy, but the cutting edge of knowledge.
All right, I
Veda
get it.
literally means knowledge. Vid means to know. And so Vedanta can be a new translation. I hadn't considered this. So Vedanta, it's appropriate. It's the cutting edge of knowledge.
Oh, I love that.
Let's ask once again.
The cutting edge of knowledge. That needs to be the, what am I thinking? Needs to be the theme of my channel. That's very good, Swami Sarvapriyananda. That was beautiful,
Again.
sir.
What is Vedanta? What knowledge? Not all knowledge. What knowledge? There is a text which has been used for the past 600 years or so to introduce novices to Vedanta, the study of classical Advaita Vedanta. It's called Vedanta Sara. Revered Maharaj was telling me how, when he was a novice, he studied the Vedanta Sara in our training center in our main monastery in India, and I studied it too. One of our teachers, and you won't believe this, when Maharaj was saying 1894, and I said, I'm not that ancient, but there are teachers who are really ancient. One of the teachers from whom I learned a lot was also Maharaj's teacher. And that teacher is still alive. He's about 105 or 6 years old now.
Holy cow.
So, Vedanta Sara, he has translated...
That's too damn old, guys. I don't want to live that long. Imagine. That's old as shit. Just keep waking up every morning. You're like, damn, am I ever gonna fucking die? That's wild. I actually have longevity in my lifeline. I think my great-grandma was 103 or something when she died. I remember asking her in the 90s about her life, and she was born in the 1800s, and I was like, holy shit. So, point being, what I'm trying to get across, do you want to live that long? Let me know in the comments. I need the engagement.
That book. And there, the first lesson we learned about Vedanta, what is the definition of Vedanta? We were required to memorize it. And the definition is this. Vedanta nama Upanishad pramanam. It is in the Vedanta Sara, that textbook. What is Vedanta? It is the source of spiritual knowledge called the Upanishads. So Vedanta is basically, the most accurate technical definition of Vedanta would be the texts called the Upanishads. The knowledge you get from the texts called the Upanishads is Vedanta. In a secondary sense, the texts themselves are called Vedanta. So in a primary sense, the spiritual knowledge that we get from the Upanishads is Vedanta. In a secondary sense, the texts themselves, Vedanta, Upanishad Pramanam.
I might do a video reading the Upanishads for us people in the West, and I'll just do a little read along, and that's possibly coming. Let me know if y'all are interested in seeing that.
Not just the Upanishads, but more popularly, all over the world, if there is one text that is associated with Hinduism, it is the Bhagavad Gita. And Sri Krishna teaches Arjuna there, and many people do not know. What he teaches there is the Upanishads. If you have studied the Upanishads, sometimes you will find almost the exact verse, almost word for word, Krishna repeats to Arjuna. So no question of plagiarism in those days. And that was expected.
No AI to write it for you, huh? The ultimate human laziness tool. We have arrived.
That was expected, that a master would base his or her teachings on the Upanishads. So the Gita is basically the essence of the teachings of the Upanishads, and it is considered a part of the canonical texts of the Vedanta. So Bhagavad Gita, and there is one more text, not a popular text, in fact quite the contrary, called the Brahma Sutras, composed by Vyasa. These are aphorisms, very cryptic, short Sanskrit texts, which deal with the various philosophical questions arising from the Upanishads. The Upanishads are poetic, are mystical.
I like
and
it.
The questions which arise, when you read all the Upanishads together, you'll have many questions.
I'm sure I will. Sorry to keep pausing. It sounds like he's saying open and shut, but it's open and shut. I know that. But it sounds, when I first heard it, I was like, what the hell is an open and shut? But now I get it.
Those questions are dealt with in a logical, rational fashion in the Brahma Sutras. So these three, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras, are together called the triple canon or the triple foundation of Vedanta, Prasthanatraya. The Upanishads are called Shruti Prasthana because they come from the Vedas. The Gita is called Smriti Prasthana because it comes from the Mahabharata. And the Brahma Sutra is called Nyaya Prasthana in the sense of the logical foundation of Vedanta. And these Brahma Sutras were the foundation for the various schools of Vedanta. Great spiritual masters, philosophers and spiritual masters who came, Shankara and others after him, they wrote commentaries.
Do you guys call your churches schools? That's what I'm starting to kind of put two and two together. Y'all call y'all's churches schools, which is way better in my opinion. Because that's basically what church is. You're going to learn and, get the energy with everybody else. But is that true, or am I way out in left field? Let me know.
Is explaining the Brahma Sutras, which are very cryptic, very difficult, obscure to understand. And they wrote these Sanskrit commentaries, and these commentaries became the foundation of the schools of Vedanta. Shankara's commentary on the Brahma Sutra is the foundation of Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta. Ramanuja's commentary on the Brahma Sutras, the Sri Bhashyam, is the foundation of qualified monism.
This Advaita Vedanta is non-dual, isn't it? It's the non-dual sector of Hinduism. That's what I'm getting at, I think. Let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong.
Vishishtadvaita Vedanta. Madhva's commentary on the Brahma Sutras is the foundation of dualistic Vedanta, Dvaita Vedanta. Nimbarka's commentary is the foundation of Dvaitadvaita Vedanta. The Vallabha's commentary is the foundation of Shuddhadvaita Vedanta. And so on. So the different schools of Vedanta are based on commentaries on the Brahma Sutra. So that's another answer we get when you ask this question, what is Vedanta? Vedanta, the Upanishad.
I knew it was going to be very simple.
And the Brahma Sutras and the Bhagavad Gita and the commentarial tradition. So that's the textual foundation of Vedanta. But let's ask once more, what is Vedanta? So this is just the surface. But we would like to know, we'd like to go into the heart of Vedanta. You see, the different schools of Vedanta, among them what Swami Tapasyanandaji calls the Bhakti schools of Vedanta, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, Shuddhadvaita. These are not so difficult to understand in principle. Each is a glorious tradition with detailed scripts and wonderful traditions of worship, spiritual practice. But in principle, they are not difficult to grasp because they are all devotional schools. So God exists and we have faith in God, we surrender to God, we love and worship God, lead moral, ethical lives and lives of devotion to the Lord, and by the Lord's grace we are rescued from samsara, from suffering.
This is where it's exactly the same as Christianity, guys. Exactly the same. Devotion, service to others, love, unconditional love. So yeah, this is where Hinduism and Christianity meet perfectly in this section.
Now, this is a kind of religion which we are familiar with, which people all over the world. And this is not so different in spirit from, say, Christianity or Islam or Judaism, theistic religion. Not so difficult to understand. But I shall concentrate today on the one school of Vedanta which is closest to us, which is Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta. And
Right.
it is in fact very profound and very different
I think I've been pretty on point so far. I hope you guys are proud of me. And out in the East.
from all of these. And it's worth exploring. What is Vedanta? By this, now I mean, what is Advaita Vedanta? I think that's a very interesting question. Now, when we ask what is Vedanta, what is Advaita Vedanta, one way of understanding what is Vedanta is by understanding what Vedanta is not.
Oh,
If I ask the question, what is not Vedanta? Now I'm going to drill down a kind of same Vedantic process of Neti, which Vedanta applies. I'm going to apply that on Vedanta itself and see what is essential to Advaita Vedanta. What is the core idea of Advaita Vedanta which distinguishes it from everything else? If you want to know the heart of Advaita Vedanta. Now I'm going to say a lot of things right now which might be a little shocking and disturbing. I will say Vedanta is not this, not that, Neti. But don't worry, whatever I'm going to say now, I'm going to take it all back later on. So, but first, we must drill down deeper.
let's get it.
What is Vedanta? The spiritual journey of Vedanta, it's not a journey in space. It's not a journey from one place to another. Sometimes when driving along, I see these big billboards, churches put them up. Heaven is a place. Meaning thereby, this is not heaven. That is heaven. So it's another place. Vedanta doesn't talk about the Brahman of Vedanta. It's not that it's not here and it's there. No, it's not a journey from here to there. That's not Vedanta.
It's a state of mind, right? That's basically the Christianity thing. Heaven and hell. It's not an actual physical place, guys. When you die, you're not going to a VIP club, bro. You are going to be dead. Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say. I'll remember in a second.
Sometimes you see a billboard. After death, you will see God. Rather ominous.
Yeah, no, it's just a state of mind. You can live here in heaven and be happy and lovely and unconditional love people, so you love yourself, or you can do the other side of the coin. Spread some love.
Get your act together right now.
Yes.
After death, you will see God. Now notice the word, the language, after. It's a time word, future. So not now, you will not see God now, but after. After something, you will see God. After death, you will see God. A kind of post-mortem spirituality.
Yeah.
Now, that's already...
That makes shit confusing for people, honestly. People are, especially the older generations, that were around before all this knowledge was available. They really struggle with death because they've had a false representation of it their entire lives. And I think they're having a hard time dealing with it, in my opinion. And with my folks, let's say.
Very good, but that's not Vedanta. That's not Vedanta. It's not then. It's not there. It's not then. It's here and now.
God is now. I love that too. This is good. I'm getting a lot of good shit out of this. Woo!
What Vedanta speaks about is not cut up by space. In Sanskrit they say desha paricheda. But it is not here but it is there. Heaven is not here. This is earth and that is heaven. That's cut up in space. But Vedanta speaks about a reality which is both here and there. In fact, space itself is included in the conception of the absolute. It's both now and then. When you say after death, you will see God. Or after the Savior comes, you will go to heaven. Look at the word after. Even in yoga, you see after samadhi, you will see God. After. Vedanta doesn't say that. So it's not a journey in time. You're not waiting for something to happen.
Not physical time and space, guys. It's not physically real. It's a state of mind. It's how you think. It's how you process your information.
Death.
And it's about love.
Or a mystic experience, or the coming of the Savior, or the coming of the millennium. Not after. It's right here, right now. It's not even a journey from one object to another. I am something and God is something else. Let me attain to that.
God is now. I love it. Once again.
People have this idea. Vedanta is talking about there is some Brahman, some absolute, in some infinite being, and I shall merge into it. Not even that. It's talking about you, your own reality. The Atman means the self itself. Who am I? What am I? Right here, right now. Not a journey in space, not a journey in time, not a journey from one reality to another, from one object to another, but right here, right now, who or what we are right now. That's what Vedanta talks about.
Okay.
So it's a journey, then what kind of spiritual journey is it? If it's not a journey in space or time or object, I'm trying to translate into English as best as I can. In Sanskrit, it's a very powerful philosophical language. So it's just, whatever I've said is one phrase. Desha kala vastu paricheda shunya. Divide or beyond the limits of time, space and object. So if that is so, then what kind of a journey is the spiritual journey? How does Vedanta understand the spiritual journey? If it's not in space, it's not in time, not from one thing to another. Vedanta understands the spiritual journey as a journey from ignorance to knowledge.
Ooh, shit. Vedanta is the journey from ignorance to knowledge. And I'm starting to get this myself because I'm learning so much with this with these classes. And I am, once again, so thankful for you guys.
Not knowing, not realizing, to knowing and realizing what I am, what this universe is, what is the point of all of this, to suddenly realizing it. So realization, knowledge, that is the spiritual journey in Vedanta.
Realization and knowledge. This is all gold, guys. All of it. The whole damn thing so far. How much? We're 24 minutes in, and it's all been solid gold. I'm going to shut up so we can get through it.
And this knowledge, let's ask once again, what is Vedanta? If you mean knowledge, and what kind of knowledge? What is Vedanta? In the same vein, let me continue. This Vedantic knowledge, what is it not? What is it not? I'm still saying what is it not?
What is it now?
Is it is it being a good person? Again, it might make people uneasy, but don't worry, I'll make up to all this later on. Is it being a good person? If I am a very righteous person, a very, I tell the truth and I take care of others, is this Vedanta? No, that is called Dharma. In Indian traditions, there are very well demarcated areas. Dharma, what is to be done and what is not to be done. The area of morality and ethics. That is not the core of Vedanta. And that leads to, do I have a good, if one person is a dharmic person, good karma leads to a good life, a happy life, fulfilling life. If I am naughty, adharmic, then bad karma and
I am a firm believer in karma. The first half of my life, I was a drug addict. I went to drug rehab like 8 times, jail about 7, and I did nothing but rob and steal from my family and friends, and I was just terrible. An absolute terrible person the first 35 years of my life. And the bad karma built up, and I had a stroke, and now I can't use my left side. So the good news is my karma slate is clean, and I've been building up positive karma ever since. So let's see if that's the fact. But yeah, I'm going to shut up.
Bad karma leads to unpleasant things happening in this life and the next.
It does.
But that is not Vedanta.
Hold on. And the next. No, hell no. Don't do that to me, man. I want to be a tree in the Amazon rainforest. Don't put me back in a human body.
Is it devotion? Is it devotion? I love God, I worship God, I have faith in God. Is that what Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, is that what Vedanta is about? No, that is Bhakti. That is devotion, Bhakti. The way of love,
Right.
devotion. Oh, wonderful, but not Vedanta.
Okay.
Not Advaita Vedanta. Is it karma, action? Shankaracharya in his commentary on the Upanishad, he starts the commentary by saying, the first sentence of the Upanishad, Ishavasya mityadeo mantra na karmasu viniyuktaha. These texts which I'm going to explain now, this Upanishad has no connection to karma, to ritual. Why not? And then he goes on to explain, what can you do by karma? What can you do by action? He says, Apya, you can attain something. You can attain St. Louis. Fly from New York to St. Louis, you have attained. You've come to something. You can do that by action. You can take action and get something. Produce something. You can produce rice in a field. Utpadya. Second thing is utpadya. The third thing he says is samskarya. You can improve something, or you can repair. You can give a whitewash to a house. You can also do that by action. Vikarya, you can transform one thing to another. A seed can be transformed into a plant. So action can do these four things. Attain something, produce something, refine something, or change something. And you, the self, that Atman which Vedanta talks about, you can't attain it. You are already you. What will you attain? You can't produce it. It's always there. Who will produce it? You are already there, eternally so. You can neither refine it nor change it into something else. Action has no role to play in the core of Vedanta. Shankaracharya dismisses it. Not karma, not bhakti. Is it meditation? Is it dhyana, meditation? You sit quietly, shut out the world.
I feel like it's the baseline layer for all of this shit. He's saying it's not this, it's not that, and I think it's deeper. It's like the deepest layer of all that shit. Right on top of all of it, grouping it together. That's what I feel like this is going. Let's see where it goes.
This is how you sit, this is how you breathe, this is how you calm the mind down. No modifications of the mind, absolutely calm, concentrated mind like a flame in a windless place. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the cessation of the modifications of the mind. Vedanta? No. That is Patanjali Yoga. That's not Vedanta. You may say, Swami, didn't Totapuri teach? Great source of
I think I might do a video on all the different sects of Hinduism and kind of just go through all of them. I'm very interested. I've never gone down the tantric path or yoga, honestly. I didn't do it before, and I can't do it now because I can't use my left arm or leg. So, but I can learn about it. That's for sure.
Fusion. Totapuri did teach Nirvikalpa Samadhi to Sri Ramakrishna. And you think, oh, Nirvikalpa Samadhi and Advaita Vedanta are the same thing. No. In all the commentaries, Shankara, in the Upanishad commentaries, Gita commentary, Brahma Sutra commentary, never once does he speak or recommend Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Why this has come about is because the techniques of meditation are very, very useful, whatever your path. If you are devotional, if you are in the path of knowledge, Vedanta, techniques of meditation, Patanjali meditation techniques are very useful, and they have always been adopted by spiritual seekers. So that's why Totapuri also taught.
Do you guys meditate? How often? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious about how everybody lives their spiritual life. How often do you meditate / pray? Let me know.
Meditation techniques to Sri Ramakrishna.
I do it daily, generally when I first wake up and before I go to bed, and I generally talk to the collective whole throughout the day and feed in my positive energy so that people can get some love.
But the essence of Vedanta is not meditation. It's not sitting in samadhi, not shutting yourself out, cutting out the world in samadhi. No. In fact, one of the Brahma Sutras is etena yoga pratyuktaha. By these arguments, the philosophy of yoga is set aside. And there the commentators say that the philosophy of yoga is set aside, but the techniques of yoga, the meditation techniques, are welcome. You see, one interesting thing about Advaita Vedanta is that we have borrowed many things from the preceding philosophies. From the Nyaya, the Advaita Vedanta borrows the techniques of argumentation, anumana, debate. From Sankhya, we keep talking about pure consciousness, witness consciousness.
All religions copy the religion before. I mean, the flood story has been in so many texts throughout existence, and I think there's another one, but mainly the flood story has been passed on.
Consciousness, but it's a contribution of Sankhya. We have borrowed from Sankhya the conception of pure consciousness. We have borrowed from yoga the wonderful techniques of meditation. We have borrowed from Purva Mimamsa school how to interpret the Upanishads. Upanishads are the fundamental texts of Vedanta, but the masters of textual interpretation, the modern term is hermeneutics, are the old school of Purva Mimamsa, Kumarila Bhatta and others. We have borrowed from them. And taking all of it together, putting it together, assembling it, we put stamp Vedanta on top of that. We put Brahman on top of it and say Vedanta. If you open the box of Vedanta and look inside, made in China. So we have to give credit. Like I think it's Newton who said, "I stand on the shoulders of giants." Mm-hmm. So in the same sense, we have
brilliant man, guys. Isaac Newton, absolutely brilliant, even more than Albert Einstein.
All these insights from the whole of Indian spiritual tradition, but all of it is put together, and then the great insight of Vedanta. So, not bhakti, not yoga.
Trying to think about what the made in China reference means. Cheaply built? That can't be it. I don't know where he was going with that. Let me know in the comments, my dumbass. Let me know. I'm curious on what he was he was referring to in that statement. Open the box of Vendetta and look in, and it says made in China. Let me know what that was referencing. Because it can't be it's built shitty. But that's generally what made in China goes towards. Sorry, China. I love you guys. But you're probably not even watching this because your internet's fucking blocked. So closest would be Vietnam. I love you guys in Vietnam. Thank you for watching. And I love you guys. I'm going to shut up.
Not karma, not dharma. Then what is Vedanta? Let's once again ask, what is Vedanta? Now we are getting warmer. Ooh. Closer to the question.
Right.
But closer to the core answer. What is Vedanta? If we were to describe Vedanta in one sentence, and believe me, we can. As the Swami said, it's a vast literature. It's an ancient tradition, 5,000.
Well, if you can sum it up in one sentence, Swami, what the hell are we doing here 30 minutes in? Sum it up in one sentence, bro.
1,000 years back to the Upanishads. And yet you can describe Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, in one sentence. And we all know it. Tat Tvam Asi. The Mahavakyas, the great sentences. Great not in length, because Sanskrit you can have very long sentences indeed. I've seen sentences covering the entire page without a break. But short sentences, but great in terms of being profound. Arthato Mahan, in terms of profundity and a deep depth. That thou art. That meaning...
That thou art. Sounds like some Christian shit.
That which is worshipped as God, Saguna Brahman, the reality behind this universe. Thou meaning you, the individual. You and that are the same thing.
Ooh, I love it. The only single thing is everything. Shout out Owen Baptiste III.
A little difficult to express in English. In Sanskrit, the expressions are so powerful, very easy to express. What is meant by Vedanta? It says, in Sanskrit, you can very easily rattle it out, Panchakosha vilakshana atma, avasthatraya sakshi atma. You, the self, who are the witness of the three states of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. You, the self, which is beyond the 5 sheets of the physical and the vital and the mental and the intellectual and the causal, the Anandamaya, the Panchakosha Vilakshana Atma. So that Atma is meant by Tat Tvam Asi. Let's look a little deeper into this. It's really a very profound analysis. By the way, what I'm going to say now, it's a remarkable idea, but I don't take any credit for it. It's either in some old Sanskrit commentary or some monks I've heard who don't know English, but they have said this in Hindi. Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art.
That thou art.
That meaning, in a very simple way you can put it, that meaning God, the God of religion. Thou meaning the individual, Jiva. That is Ishwara or Saguna Brahman, that thou meaning you. Now that seems to be a very radical statement. Does it mean to say, I am God? No. No, not in that sense. What it means to say is, when we investigate these two polarities, I, the individual being, what am I when I investigate? There's a technical term for this. Tvam Padartha Shodhana. Again, going back to Vedanta Shar. The analysis, investigation into who am I or what am I, and an analysis into what is God. And then you...
Which school do y'all, favor, I guess you would say the word is? Which sect do you guys, which school do you attend? I'm just curious. I don't go to church. I'm not a Christian, and I haven't really found any other religious in my area, so I don't go. But I am a firm believer that church is wherever you bring it, and wherever there's more than one person gathered, God is there. And so that's how I treat it.
Come to a synthesis, saying that what is the reality beyond God and beyond the individual. Here you see the big difference between Advaita Vedanta and all the other theistic schools of Vedanta. In fact, all the other theistic schools in different religions. Religions of the world in general and other devotional schools of Vedanta, they stop with 3 things: a triangle, God, individual, and the world. Jiva, Jagat, Ishwara. There is the world which you experience.
That's another where it's just like Christianity. We're combining, we're conforming into one here, because this is the second time we're touching on the word. On something that's exactly the same as Christianity. God, you, the Word. You got to study the Word, read the Word, so you can be the Word.
And there is you. You are there. You experience a world with other people in it. And we have a faith, a belief in God.
He's saying world. World. I thought he was saying word. He's saying world. Okay, so it's God, me, and the world. Sorry about that, guys.
You have a triangle set up. And religions end with that, the theistic religions. Advaita Vedanta goes beyond that, says that there is a deeper reality, a higher reality, beyond the individual, beyond the world, and beyond God even. And that it calls the absolute, Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss. Sat Chit Ananda. And it says, your reality is that Sat Chit Ananda. And if you would realize that, you would realize Brahma Satyam, that alone is real. And what about the world? Jagat Mithya, the world is an appearance. And what about me? Am I an appearance or a reality? Don't worry, you are real. But you are real as the absolute. Jiva Brahmaiva Napara. So it reduces the entirety of experience to one absolute reality. And it insists this can be understood, realized, within quotes, experienced. I'm being careful for those who are technically nitpickers, So, and that is the purpose of spirituality, to realize yourself as that Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. The teacher teaches you that thou art, Tattvamasi. And the student shouldn't say that thou art, then there will be an endless go back and forth between the teacher and the student. The teacher says that thou art, and the student should realize, I am that. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Let us stay with this statement a little longer. Very interesting. It gives you a deep insight into what is Vedanta. Spiritual life, you can have 2 broad approaches to spiritual life. Look at that statement, that thou art. That meaning, by now we know, that meaning God. Thou meaning you. Now, there can be two broad approaches to spiritual life. Even in the religions of the world, you see these two broad approaches. One is a that-centered approach to religion and spiritual life, God-centered. And another one is a thou, the inquiry into the self. A set of religions and another approach to spiritual life.
I feel like the former is us in the West, and the latter is you guys in the East. I love y'all's religions and spirituality way more than over here. We have dumbed it down as much as possible, and it's fucking wild. Christianity is aggressive as hell. It's aggressive, man. Y'all need to chill out if you're watching this in a Christian. Relax. You don't have to tell everybody about it. Just do your thing, be a good person, and love everybody unconditionally so you can love yourself properly.
Can be, who am I? Search for God. That's one way of spiritual life. And what am I? Who am I? That's another approach to spiritual life. And one can see why this should be so. After all, look at the structure of our experience. Any experience any one of us ever has had is always subject and object. I experiencing this universe. I am experiencing that. If you ask the question, what is the reality about yourself, about myself? That is the inquiry into thou, into the individual. If you ask the question, what is the reality about this universe? That's the inquiry into what religions call God. So there are these two broad approaches. Now think about it. Apply it to the religions of the world. Christianity. What is it about? It is about the Father in heaven, about God. Mm-hmm. Islam, it's about God. Judaism, it's about God. In fact, all the Abrahamic religions are God-centered, theistic religions. And that's why one problem in the West has been, because this is the only kind of religion that the West has been used to, they find it very confusing. Here people find something like Buddhism very confusing.
Yeah, it's very wild how they've done it over here. I mean, a lot of people came to this country to avoid religious persecution. So it was meant to have a diversity of religions, and then we absolutely slaughtered everyone except Christianity. I don't know of a church that's not Christianity, not one, in my area at least. Well, there might be one. It's called Baha'i Faith. I don't know anything about it. But I bet you it's Christianity based. I'm going to shut up.
How can you have a religion without God? Whereas in India, it's no problem at all. For thousands of years, Buddhism has been there for 2,500 years. Jainism even before that. Buddhism, Jainism, even some of the schools of Hinduism. Sankhya. Even in yoga, though God is there, God is secondary. So these are religions or spiritual approaches which are not about God. In Buddhism, there's no talk about God. It's openly agnostic. In Jainism, there's no talk about God. But they are religions just like any other. So there are religions which are God-centered. In Hinduism also, there are so many religions or so many ways which are God-centered.
Okay, so they don't mention a God, and that's probably why I don't really ever hear a mention of Satan or the devil as well. It's probably just part of the whole package here. I'm guessing.
Sri Ramakrishna is a devotee of Kali, the Shakta approach. Worship of God as the Divine Mother. Worship of God as Vishnu. Worship of God as Shiva. These are all God-centered approaches. Tat, that-centered. Keep this in mind. That thou art.
That thou art.
So there are these religions which are God-centered. And there are religions which, I won't say self-centered, that sounds bad. I'll say there are religions which are self-inquiry based on self-inquiry into what am I. Buddhism, Sankhya, Yoga. Though yoga mentions Ishwara, but only as an aid, as a help to realizing oneself as the Purusha. So yoga, Jainism. So these are...
I want to do a video on yoga. Somebody let me know what the best route to that would be. Who has the best philosophical insight on yoga? I would love to do a reaction video on it. Let me know in the comments.
Schools or religions which are based on self-inquiry. Not so much. They either ignore the question of God altogether.
I also want to go down all the deity road, like Shiva and all that. Let me know where I should go there too.
Or in some of the schools are openly atheistic. There's no God. But they're all based on inward inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
Even among spiritual seekers, right here, you will see there are these two broad divisions. You may not have noticed it. I have noticed it. When I was in our main monastery, I used to teach the young people who had come to become monks, brahmacharis, novices. And I would ask them, why did you become a monk? What are you looking for? And I would get broadly these two kinds of answers. One group would say, I'm searching for God. I'm looking for God realization. That appeals to me. Another group would say, God is good, fine. But I'm really interested in who am I? What am I? Who am I? You see, self-inquiry.
That's where the road I'm going down right now. I've already gone the other road, and I'm balls deep in this one right now. And I'm loving every second of it. I'm finding out who I am, that thou art.
So these two broad approaches. And when you compare these two approaches, you find some distinct differences. The God-centered religions and the God-centered mentality is likely to be devotional, worship-oriented, likely to be dualistic, likely to be temple, church, mosque-oriented.
All of them. Guaranteed.
Likely to be ritualistic. Likely to be, in a broad sense. Ritualistic. Lots of worship and food and celebrations, joyous. And in contrast, you will find the self-inquiry based religions, they tend to be more monastic in nature. Think about Buddhism. They tend to be more of an inquiry, meditative, rather than devotional. They tend to be a little more intellectual, inquiry based.
Combining the two, let's get into a physical place with other spiritual beings and learn about ourselves. That's good. That's where I need to be. We need to combine the two.
They tend to be more meditation hall oriented rather than temple oriented. Think of a Buddhist or a Jaina center, right? Both of these have their advantages and disadvantages. Bear with me. It is leading somewhere. We are still with the question, what is Vedanta? But you'll see where it is leading. Both of these approaches have their advantages and disadvantages. The God-centered approach and the self-inquiry based. The Tat, that-centered approach, and the thou-centered approach. What are the advantages and disadvantages? The great disadvantage of a God-centered approach, especially in today's world, is that the God-centered approach starts with and proceeds with for a long time on faith, belief. If you start with questioning and skepticism, very difficult to follow the God-centered approach.
That's a good point. I mean, you're starting the whole spiritual journey on some, exactly what he said.
If you say, how do I know God exists? Well, the book says so. I don't believe the book. The saints say so. They were deluded. Then it is very difficult to begin on that path. The God-centered approach,
Yeah, it kind of makes it weird, honestly. It turns a lot of people away.
Existence of God is open to doubt. That's why in all the God-centered approaches, you will find a great deal of effort is put forward into proving the existence of God.
Yeah, is there one or isn't there one? Is there heaven or is there hell? Yeah, it's exactly. I think it's the wrong approach, guys. We need to be going inside. We need to look this way instead of that way. I think. Let's see where it's going.
In Christianity, you will find many of you may not be aware there are actually proofs of the existence of God. There are. If you Google it now, you will find. In Christianity, St. Thomas Aquinas, he talks about the 5 ways, the 5 proofs of the existence of God. In fact, recently I think Rebecca Goldstein wrote 36 proofs of the existence of God. I bought the book thinking there will be 36 proofs. No, it's a novel actually. It's nothing to do with the existence of
I can't do novels. I don't like fiction, anything. Books, movies, shows. I got to do nonfiction. I got to be learning, laughing, or loving. And if I'm not doing one of those three L's, then I am not interested. I don't watch many movies or TV. I learn for fun, always.
So he talks about 5 proofs of the existence of God. And I can see people looking interested. Wow, proofs of the existence of God. Don't get too excited. If you actually look at the proofs, you will find, if you believe in God, well and good, you will say, yeah, that's nice. If you don't believe in God, you won't be convinced by those proofs. In fact, one of the leading philosophers, forget it.
So I think what we're getting at is it doesn't matter if you're a believer or not. The layer that puts it all together is Vedanta. It's both of them. It's both yes and no.
His name, I think, Kenneth Appiah or somebody. He was training to become a priest, and in his studies he came across the proof. He training to become a priest, and came across the proofs of the existence of God. After reading the proofs of existence of God, he decided not to become a priest. He became a philosopher instead. That he said, I can't. After reading the proofs, I cannot believe in the existence of God anymore. Not that I disbelieve, but I don't think these are conclusive proofs. In Hinduism, the great Nyaya philosophers, they developed several proofs of the existence of God. Udayanacharya, who was after Shankaracharya.
Do you guys believe in God? I do in a sense. I am kind of in a whole with the everybody. The only single thing is everything. We are all God. We are as a collective, including all the fauna, flora, and the actual universe. You know, universes pair up. They find a mate. Ours is Andromeda, and if you look out, they all pair up. So I think the actual universe is conscious as well. It's wild. I think we swim in it. It's probably what dark energy and dark matter is. Think about it.
He developed 9 proofs of the existence of God. Again, all rather underwhelming. So, why did they do this? In the Hindu context, it was the attacks of the Buddhists. So the Buddhists mounted a challenge, the twofold challenge. Where is this God you speak about? And also, where is this eternal soul you speak about? So an attack on the Hindu
that thou art
conception of Atma, and attack on the Hindu conception of God, Ishwara. And the Nyaya philosophers, they defended the Hindu ideas of God and Atma, Ishwara and Atma. So my point here is, notice how much effort is put forth in trying to convince others and yourself God exists. In contrast.
Yeah, it does take a lot of energy, and it's a waste of time to debate is there a God thing. It's way better just to look within, I think.
Nowhere you will find any effort put forward to prove that I exist. Nobody really doubts his or her own existence. Nobody. If you doubt, then who is the one doubting? That one exists.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
I do exist. Even Descartes, who started with this project of doubt, that whatever I can doubt, I will dismiss. The great project, René Descartes. But where did he stop? I exist, because surely I am thinking that is this real or not. If I'm thinking this I cannot doubt, then I exist. I exist because I think, therefore I exist. The cogito ergo sum, the famous conclusion. So Descartes,
I think, therefore I am.
Descartes ends with the one indubitable fact that I exist. In all the, I can't resist this, a silly joke. I saw a cartoon once, Descartes sitting for a cup of coffee in a Parisian cafe, and the girl comes up and asks, Monsieur Descartes, another cup of coffee? And he thinks and he says, I think not, and immediately disappears. I think, therefore I exist, so I think not. Yesterday, while coming down for dinner, I heard some of the devotees, somebody was asking, how many Vedantins does it take to ring the bell? It's a variation on the joke, how many XYZ it takes to change the light bulb.
Yeah.
A series of jokes. So somebody asked, how many Descartians does it take to change the light bulb? And he says, none, because the moment the light went out, they were so shocked, they stopped thinking and they all disappeared. Vedanta would change that. Instead of saying, I think, therefore I exist, it would say, I exist, therefore I think. You know, there's a subtle point there.
Ooh,
Even
I like that. I exist, therefore I think. And that's we, me, you, us.
Not thinking, in deep sleep, when the unconscious, or they were knocked out in coma.
I'll admit, this is kind of the part that is hard for me to comprehend. The whole dream state, sleep state, and how you're still part of the tunya. Man, that's probably the part I'm struggling with the most on learning about how that relates to all of this. I mean, I get it. You're still you in your dreams.
Not
I'm gonna
thinking,
shut
or
up.
in deep meditation. Even that's an experience. It's not an absence of experience. It's an experience of absence. If it's an experience of absence, to whom is it is the experience happening? You are still there. You are the witness of all your thoughts, and you are the witness of the absence of your thoughts too.
Ooh,
So
man, this is good. All of it's good. You are the absence of your thoughts. You're aware of all of it. That's you. It's us.
even when you're not thinking, that not thinking is also is lit up by your presence. So anyway, in the Tao-centered approaches, there is no doubt that I exist.
And the Tao, that's Alan Watts. And I'm not really sure who he learned from, but I'm pretty sure it was someone in the West, or the East, I'm sorry. So yeah, I don't know who Alan Watts learned the Tao from, but I know about it a little bit.
But the problem is, there's a problem.
Poquito.
The advantage of the Tao-centered approach is that there's no doubt that I exist. But the problem is this. I exist, but my existence is a miserable existence. I have so many problems. I have old age, death, relationship problems, parking problems.
We all have shit tons of problems. We're all barely keeping our heads above water. Mine mostly are all physical limitations. I am basically unemployable. I am a fall risk outside of my house, and I can't use my left hand, so I can't type really for a remote position. So I'm kind of unemployed, hence me trying to get monetized. I'm getting close. I've got 1,000 subs almost and 1,000 watch hours. Help me out, guys. There's my Cash App in the comments if you're feeling generous. I could use all the help I can get.
All sorts of problems. So what if I exist? That is the problem, isn't it? So now, whereas God's existence, though doubtful, if God exists, God is wonderful, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, doesn't even need to park. So, extraordinary, God has no problems at all, wonderful, glorious existence, but doubtful existence, if God exists. Whereas in our case...
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. You know, you have the best existence ever, but people doubt that you even are real. Imagine that life. That's weird.
No doubt we exist. There's no doubt at all. Nobody has ever seriously doubted our own existence. Even the Buddhist, who says there is no permanent, eternal soul, does not doubt that there is a continuing series of consciousness flashes. So that's what the Buddhist says. So our existence is undoubted, but a miserable existence. Problematic existence. Unproblematic, doubtful existence. Problematic, undoubted, certain existence. That centered approach, think about all the religions of the world. They are infected with that problem, doubt. In today's world, how will you stand up against Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens? He's passed away, bless his memory. But Sam Harris, Daniel Dennett, the new militant atheists, yeah? How will you stand up against them if you take a theistic approach? Whereas the other one, undoubtedly I do exist, but so many problems. Now, If you have noticed, I haven't brought Vedanta in it at all. Now I'm going to say, why did I say all of this? What does Vedanta do? That thou art. What it does is, it brings these two together.
Ooh.
What Vedanta, the great insight of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, is what you reach through the God-centered approach and what you reach through the self-inquiry approach. That based approach, thou based approach, you reach the same reality.
Ooh.
By bringing them together, Atman is Brahman, that thou art. The realization is that indubitable, follow this is actually stunning, that indubitable, undoubtable personal existence is also the infinitude of God.
Ooh. All right, so your presence is basically God, I think. I've been doing pretty good. I've been on point. I hope you guys are proud of me in the East. I don't want to do you dirty on your religion, so I am being very, very careful on how I tread the waters. So let me know if I'm being disrespectful or if I'm representing it in the wrong way. Please let me know. I need all constructive criticism I can get, and I can take it. I'm a big boy.
Unproblematic, infinite nature of God and the undoubted certain nature of yourselves are combined. So you have a certain undoubted infinite existence. That is what you come upon in Advaitic realization.
It helps with the doubt. I see that. Okay. It helps with the doubt because you kind of look past it. You look down. It's the lowest layer of everything. Vedanta. That's what I'm getting. Vedanta. It's the lowest layer on everything. It's probably dark matter and dark energy.
If one truly understands Advaita, the more I read and study and try to realize this, I see this is an undoubted truth. It's just that we don't see it. When you see it, it is beyond any doubt. It's absolutely blazing forth all the time.
Yeah, but we do now know that there has to be an observer for shit to exist. So if there's no observer, it's just energy. And until there's an observer, and then the form takes shape. This place is strange. I made a video on consciousness. I'll drop a link right here in case you want to watch it after. It'll be in the description as well. I'm going to shut up so we can get through this.
Completely undoubted and completely problem-free. This is the core idea of Advaita Vedanta, that thou art. Your existence which is infinite, your existence which is certain, but we surround it with problems. Vedanta shows you those problems. Take them up. They are either the body's problems, they are the mind's problems, they are the intellect's problems, they are body, mind, intellect problems. And Vedanta shows you how you are not the body, mind, intellect.
Yeah, buddy, this is good. All your problems are your body's problems, or your mind, or your intellect. It's not the real you, the bottom layer.
Avastatraya sakshi, panchakosha vilakshana atma. You're not any of them. The moment you see that I am not any of them, the limitations imposed by body, mind, and intellect, when they disappear, you realize your infinite self, which is one with God.
Ooh, I love that, man. Yeah, it definitely helps you out with the belief on if there's a God or not, because you are with, I get it. I'm learning.
Not only is there no problem, there never has been. This whole conception of a problem and trying to get out of a problem, this is what is called Maya in Advaita Vedanta.
Maya.
It's remarkable good news.
I wonder if that has any correlation with the actual Maya in Central America, Mayan culture. I'm pretty curious on that too. I've dug in a little bit on the Toltecs. They are a sector, I guess you would say, of the Mayans. They were the Toltecs. They were like the shamans, and they know a lot about unconditional love. I would recommend checking out Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., the Mastery of Love and Mastery of Self. They're real short books, and I would highly recommend them. Changed my life. I'm going to shut up.
Not only that, it provides a foundation to all the other religions which have come before it, which seems to be so contradictory. But this.
So it is. It's the lowest layer of everything. So it combines all the religions. It's a default setting for religions.
Vedanta, it does not dismiss, deny the other religions, the other approaches. It gives you the rationale for them. What is actually happening in those? You begin to realize. From a Vedantic perspective, you can say, great when somebody comes and talks about Christ or Krishna. And you can say, great when somebody comes and talks about mindfulness and the impermanence of the empirical self.
It's like the deepest layer of spirituality. The deepest layer. The very bottom of the iceberg. Beautiful. I love it.
You can say, great, I know what you're talking about. Both work very well. I've got time for asking what is Vedanta one more time.
All right, we're going to get there.
What is Vedanta? Now let's ask this question one final time to Swami.
I knew it was going to be simple. Even though he already said we could sum it up in one sentence, that thou art. Let's finish it off.
Swami Vivekananda. We have narrowed it down, setting out many things, drilling deeper and deeper, come upon a core idea. Now let's back up and
zoom out,
expand outwards. Swami Vivekananda says, practical Vedanta.
I hear him bring up that dude. Should I check him out? Swami I don't know, Vivekananda or something. I don't really even know. But somebody let me know in the comments if I should check him out. It sounds like he's wise. If the Sarvapriyananda learned from him, should I check him out? Let me know.
He said Vedanta has first and foremost been practical, then only a philosophy. Because what we have been saying so far sounds awfully abstract. Vivekananda says, no. It has always been practical and then only a philosophy. Swami Vivekananda says, the way to realize this is definitely through the way of philosophical inquiry, but also through meditation, through love, through service, karma, bhakti, yoga, all of which we had left by the wayside. We take it back in now. By one or more or all of these and be free.
He stripped everything away to bring it back. I love it. That's what you have to do with yourself. Strip everything away and relearn.
And Vivekananda says, realize the divinity within by meditation, by knowledge. He clearly, in fact, uses the word philosophy. Philosophy has got a bad name. That it's some kind of intellectual thing. No?
That's the whole death and rebirth thing as well. You got to kill your old self to become somebody else. You got to take it all out to bring it in. I think that's where we're going with this.
No. The original meaning of philosophy was Jnana Yoga, a philosophical inquiry into reality. Swami Vivekananda uses the word philosophy when he talks about Jnana Yoga by philosophy, by psychic control, by love, or by work.
Is it Vivekananda? Swami Vivekananda?
By one or more of all of these, the 4 yogas, and be free. That is the whole of religion. Books, temples, doctrines, churches are secondary details. And on this approach, actually in traditional Vedanta, whether Advaita or Vishishtadvaita or Dvaita, all of these yogas have actually been accepted. Shankara, he says, by knowledge, jnana deva kaivalyam, by knowledge alone one gets enlightenment. But karma is essential. It's the first step in spiritual life. Bhakti is essential. Shankara.
So, yeah, it's the basic fundamentals of all religion. It's probably where you should start if you want to become religious, and maybe that's why it's been so confusing over here, because we're skipping the most important step. We're skipping right over it, and it makes you think if it's even real, because we're skipping over the most important part, which is the blanket that covers us all and makes us one.
In fact, says it's essential to have karma, upasana, then jnana. Ramanuja just reverses the order. Ramanuja says, yes, Jnana, knowledge is important. But first karma, first action, then jnana, and then ultimately devotion is important.
Ooh.
Devotion is what takes.
I love devotion. That's another place where it's on point with Christianity. Devotion. So the Vedanta and Christianity is very similar in that form. You got to be devoted, and you don't necessarily have to be devoted to a god or a deity. You got to just do it to whatever you're currently doing.
You to liberation. So all the old ancient masters included all the yogas. They didn't discard them. They included, but they put it in hierarchical order. And Swami Vivekananda sort of flattens the hierarchy, and he says, any one of them, but recommended all of them together, and they will lead you to enlightenment. Swami Vivekananda says morality is based on this Vedanta. He says the essence, in fact, this is a good answer. Swami, what is Vedanta? Swami Vivekananda would say two things: the divinity within us and the oneness of existence. The divinity within us and the oneness of existence. Notice that thou art.
Yeah.
Can you put them together? When you inquire into the thou, into the individual, what do you come across? The divinity within us, not body, not mind, beyond body and mind. Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. I am the witness consciousness. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. That is the divinity within each one of us. But that divinity is not separate. It's not that there are 100 divinities sitting here. I know you're all divine, but it's one divinity.
Yes, we are all connected. You can make other people think shit. It's very weird. Try it.
According to Advaita Vedanta,
thoughts are
one divinity.
Powerful.
Sankhya says we are all separate.
Thoughts are powerful, and when you're alone, that's when they're the most potent. So you have to be careful there.
Spirits. But Vedanta says that which is beyond body and mind right here is one. So, not only the divinity within each of us, but that divinity within each of us is one reality. That's what he means by the oneness of existence. That thou art, Swami Vivekananda puts it in this way: the oneness of all existence and the divinity within each of us. And this oneness of existence, Swami Vivekananda says, this is the surest foundation of morality. I have no time to give a lecture on the Advaitic foundations of morality. There's a fantastic article, Swami Bhajananandaji, he's written an article. He's a very senior monk of our order, a wonderful sadhu and a luminous mind. He has written this article, The Ontological Ethics of Swami Vivekananda, about 20-25 pages, where he surveys the entire field of morality and ethics, different theories from East and West, and shows the deficiencies of those theories.
I might find the article and do a reaction review on that as well. I'm curious. I'm going balls deep into Hinduism. I'm thinking about becoming a monk. I don't even know if they let white people be monks. I'm not sure on the rules on that.
Teleological, utilitarian theories, deontological theories, and so on. And then he comes how Vivekananda used Advaita Vedanta, as a foundation for morality. What Swami Vivekananda said was, because it is one reality, if I hurt somebody else, if I cheat somebody else, if I lie to somebody else, I'm hurting myself in the...
This is proving my point where I've been saying this whole time. If you think negatively or hate another person, at the end of the day, you're hurting yourself. Deep hurt. And, you don't even realize it because it's subconscious. But you hating that person, we all know who it is. You hating him, you're doing damage to your own spiritual self at the end of the day. You gotta love them to love yourself. Some people may say you gotta love yourself to love other people, but I say you gotta love other people to love yourself.
Deepest sense. Because we are all one. Just as we take very good care of ourselves, we should take equally good care, if not more, of everybody else. The golden rule.
Helping everybody else will help you. I just gave my mom that advice yesterday. She was saying she was kind of depressed, and I think it's because she was thinking a lot of selfish thoughts about, herself and what she can do to improve her life. And I told her, be in service to other people. That'll eventually help you. Helping others will help you.
Treat others as you would have them treat you. This is something found, variations of them, it is found in every religion of the world. Went to the United Nations, I found it's written there, the golden rule. But now you know, why should I treat others the way I want them to treat me? Why? It sounds just and fair, but still why? If they are different, I could exploit them. I could have them treat me well and then treat them very badly. Why not? Because Vedanta says you and the other are not separate. You and the other are one reality. Therefore, if you treat them badly, you are actually injuring your deepest self, your spiritual self. So this is the foundation of morality. Vedanta, what is Vedanta? Vedanta is strength. Swami Vivekananda, based on this idea of oneness and divinity within, he gave certain principles. He said, what strengthens you is true. Reject as poison what weakens you. Vedanta gives strength. What unites all of us is true. What divides us, reject as false. Because oneness of existence. What makes you more unselfish, that is truth. What makes us more selfish, reject it as false. Unselfishness and oneness are connected. The idea of harmony of religions. You see, it's all very easy to say it's one, but when we look at the world, it's many. If the truth is it's one and it is appearing as many, at the level of the many, what should we practice? You can't practice oneness because you can't lump everything together into one reality. You can't put all the religions together into one religion. No, that won't work. Oneness at the core, expressed as the plural, as the many, then what we have to practice is the harmony of the many. Is living together, learning and assimilating from each other. This great teaching of harmony of religions, which again Swami Vivekananda takes from Sri Ramakrishna, from his master Sri Ramakrishna. Harmony of religions. That is also based on Vedanta. That follows from Vedanta. In many of the talks which Swami Vivekananda gives about Advaita, he makes sure to mention how Advaita preserves the preceding steps in religion. It does not discard, doesn't say that now I have a deeper understanding, now I have a better understanding, I am superior, that's so primitive, let it go. No. That has been useful for me and it will be useful for many who come later on. Not only that, it's not a question of truth and falsity. He said it's a question of moving from lower truth to higher truth. That is also true. So, harmony of religions, that follows directly from Vedanta. And finally, service. Service. The great teaching of his master, Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. Serve all beings, all sentient beings, knowing them to be none other than God. Notice, knowing them. Shiva Jnane, knowing them to be none other than Shiva. He did not say worshipping them to be none other than Shiva, believing them to be none other than Shiva, meditating upon them, not Shiva Dhyani.
No.
Not meditating upon them to be none other than Shiva, which is all very good, you can do that. But literally it's a fact that Shiva alone is appearing in all these forms. And so what should be my attitude to Shiva? The only thing that can be there is worship. And what is worship in day-to-day life? Will you throw flowers and chant mantras? That might be nice once in a while, but not particularly useful. So worship in day-to-day life is the action that we perform, is whatever we can do for others. I remember Swami Ranganathananda, I'll close with this. He said, what is spirituality? When I close my eyes, I find peace within. When I open my eyes, my attitude is, what can I do for you?
Ooh-wee.
This is spirituality. See, the
I
whole
love
idea
it.
of that thou art.
What can I do for you today?
Oneness
Let me know
of
in the
universe and
comments.
the divinity within. Both are expressed.
I am in full service
Close
mode.
my eyes, the divinity within. Of course I find peace. Open my eyes, the same divinity outside. Of course I want to serve. What is Vedanta?
Alright, that about wraps it up for this one, guys. If you made it this far, I really appreciate your support. When I began this dive into the consciousness iceberg, I thought I was exploring ideas, theories, models, and perspectives. But what Vedanta reveals is that it isn't a journey through space or time, or even from one object to another. It's not about going somewhere else to find the truth. It's about waking up to what has always been there. Swami Sarvapriyananda teaches or reminds us the real pilgrimage is from ignorance to knowledge, from not knowing who or what we are to realizing it with clarity and conviction. And at the heart of the realization of the ancient declaration, Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art. You are not a fragment of reality. You are reality itself, temporarily playing the role of a seeker. This is the seed of all true religiousness. Not the outer forms, doctrines, or rituals, but the direct recognition of the oneness existence and the divinity within. In the West here, we often skip over this foundation, leaping straight into the belief systems without first touching the ground they stand on. Vedanta is the ground. It is the beginning before beginnings. The recognition that the Absolute is here and now. The Absolute is here and now. Not waiting in some distant future or hidden in some far place or after we die. Remember, we got to strip it all away and rebuild. From ignorance to intelligence, from separation to unity, from I think, therefore I am, to I am, therefore I think. The iceberg melts into the ocean, and the ocean was always you, that thou art. Let Vedanta be not just a theory discussed in lectures, but a living, breathing inquiry. You are invited into the mystery. The journey is not from here to there, but from surface to the depth. From forgetting to remembering. From suffering to bliss. Tat Tvam Asi. May this phrase echo for you. Not merely as a teaching, but as a profound lived reality. That thou art. I love you guys. If this touched you in some way, consider subscribing. If you want to dive more into Advaita Vedanta, this is number 3. I made 2 previous ones if you want to check those out after this one. And I am going to continue down this path because I am very, very interested. Which way should I go next, guys? Let me know in the comments, please. I love you. I will see y'all next time. Go love somebody that you don't like so you can love yourself properly. Alright, I love y'all. See you next time. Be good.